Good morning all, and welcome to, once again should I say, to Mary's Meadows. This time Heath Spotted-Orchids. I always look forward to this trip. It's the only Heath Spotted-Orchid site within a very big distance of Peterborough, and I love my Heath Spotted-Orchids, so got to get the timing right. I've come out bang on the same day as I came out last year, so it was okay then, so fingers crossed it should be good today. And it's a lovely day. 35 degrees yesterday, 16 degrees today. We even had a bit of rain yesterday, so I'm very happy with conditions, even if they're a bit blustery. But it's Heath Spotted-Orchids. Let's crack on, 'cause it's a long trek, and see what we can find. Just looking out for any surviving green-winged orchids. I think we're 5 days away from June now, so they will be right at the very end of their flowering period. But there's always one that hangs on just to be the last. Not that I've seen one. Frazzled. There's no even remotely fresh looking green wings still in flower, but it's been very, very hot, so I think there were a few survivors this time last year, but yeah, they've been frazzled in the heat. I think it's about the best one I've seen, this one. One of the commonest buzzwords on orchid social media in recent weeks has been transiens, or to give it the full name, dactylorhiza cross transiens, which is the hybrid common spotted Heath spotted. And there's no doubt that this collection of Heath spotteds that we're coming up to does have hybrids, does have transiens, hybrids amongst them, but they are nigh on impossible to identify with any certainty. You can look at them and say, well, there's certain elements of it that suggest it could well be a hybrid, but you've really got to put the word possibly in front of every statement to that effect. And some people have been saying that's definitely a transient, that's definitely not. You know, I'm not that confident, and I don't think there is any way you can be that sure unless you're carrying a DNA kit with you. So we'll see some today, which I will definitely suggest might be hybrids, but I definitely won't be saying that is certainly a transients hybrid. Heath spotted and common spotted, I'm sure I've told you before, don't usually grow together. The Heath spotted prefer soil on the acid side of neutral, and common spotted prefer it on the alkaline side of neutral, but neutral itself you can get both, and we get them both here. One thing that helps us in terms of identifying the two is that the common spotteds come out about 10 days after the Heath spotteds do, generally speaking, at this site. Now we'll find some common spotteds just to break that rule, but the majority of the common spotteds will be lagging behind, so most of what we see today will be Heath spotted, which probably means we're going to bump into a bunch of common spotteds now, but that's the way it usually is down here. So we'll see what we can find. I'm sure there'll be some strange ones that'll have me scratching my head, but most will be Heath spotted, and I'm quite happy with that. Kicking off with a nice pinkish Heath spotted orchid, and that's fairly fresh, still opening. That pink will disappear, come back in 2 or 3 days time, and that'll be a whitish Heath spotted orchid. I prefer them like this. Very nice one that. I like that. Very pink. A classic pebble dashed pink Heath Spotted Orchids. You can't really confuse these with anything else. Classic markings. I should be jumping around thinking I found a white Heath Spotted Orchid, which I'm always looking for here and never find. But they never are white. As you can see from this, they just have pale spots on them, which you don't see until you get up close. Lots of false alarms. It's a nice pairing. I see quite a few people getting confused over Heath Spotted that have a strong and pronounced central lobe, because the textbooks kind of hint at, or some of them do, if you've got a big strong central lobe, it's common spotted and not Heath Spotted. But these are Heath Spotted. The way I look at it is I draw a circle around the outer lobes, starting at the top, and if that central lobe fits within that circle, then it's a Heath Spotted Orchid. That's just my way of doing it. If I take a screenshot here and try badly to draw a circle, you'll perhaps see what I mean. You'll see that that central lobe, although it's pronounced, still sits within the circle. Whereas on a common spotted, that central lobe will often leap down below the circle and be quite pronounced. And you can see on this one, that isn't the case. Now, I said I might be brave enough to suggest possible hybrids, in which case I might have a stab at this one. Why? Because the flower shape is Heath Spotted without a doubt, but the markings, the line markings, the womble eyes, call them what you like, at the top are more common spotted than Heath Spotted. But also I noticed, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this if I point down towards the leaves, they're quite bold, quite strongly marked, and that is more common spotted than Heath Spotted. Heath Spotted leaves tend to be softer in terms of the boldness of the markings, but also they tend to be smaller as well, and these are more like common spotted leaves. And yeah, that could be a hybrid. He sits up straight for the camera. Thank you, sir. Possible hybrid. Interesting set of markings, that. Sort of non-typical in terms of Heath Spotted and non-typical in terms of common spotted. It's definitely a Heath Spotted. That central lobe is tucked well in inside the circle. And also, if we drop down again, I hope you can see the leaf down there. It's much lighter in marking and smaller spots compared with the one we just saw that I thought might have been a hybrid. This is a more classic Heath Spotted Orchid leaf or leaves. That's quite nice, that. That's nice and unusual. It's got a sort of lilac hood over the flower. Quite unusual when looking down on it. Very pretty. I thought for a second that it had no spots on it whatsoever, but it does. It's just sort of lost in the sort of pale lilac background, which is nice. Another one with markings that could definitely sway you towards some involvement of common spotted, but it's not as far as I'm concerned anyway. It's Heath Spotted. Down the bottom The leaves are kind of classic Heath Spotted, quite faint, not bold in any way, and quite small. I'd say that's 100% Heath Spotted Orchid. Some of these are only like 2.5, 3 inches tall from the ground level. Very small, very diminutive, but then they always are. They're never big here. You see some pretty stout ones further south, but up here they're pretty small. Always have been. As is the case, once again, you've got to get down to see these. Not least because they're only 2 to 3 inches tall, but if you don't get down and up close, you don't see the fantastic markings on these Heath Spotted Orchids. And it is these markings that really make them so special, to my eyes anyway. Unusual markings really for a Heath Spotted Orchid, which is what it probably is. Unusual, and somewhere down there, if I can find it, it does have leaves, I can assure you. Now they're quite bold, quite boldly spotted, more common spotted than Heath Spotted, so I don't know, that would go into the category of a possibly, maybe transiens hybrid, but that's as far as I would go. Very bold markings on this one, and incredible markings on the flower. This one would be again a possible hybrid, but more possible than the other possible hybrids because of the markings on the flowers are very bold indeed, and it's lines rather than spots. Yeah, that is either a hybrid, it could even be a common spotted, but the flowers are such a mess, it's not easy to work out what the hell I'm looking at here. That could actually just be a common spotted orchid. If it isn't, it's nearly an almost possibly definite transiens hybrid. There's common spotted in this to some degree at least. That's a bit weird, that one, actually. I'm gonna grab this one and take it home and have a look at it. Almost certainly a Heath Spotted Orchid, but it's kind of, yeah, it's going over slightly, so maybe that's causing the flowers to sort of tighten up a wee bit, but it just looks a bit unusual to me. I'm not going to shout out what I think it might be here, but I'll take it home and have a look. Whatever it is, the markings on the leaves are extremely faint. Another one in the definitely, maybe, possibly hybrid camp. Quite bold line markings on there, along with spots around the sides. I don't know if you can see the leaves, they are bold. More common spotted than Heath Spotted. And yeah, a possible dactyloriza cross transiens hybrid. Possibly. That's a top quality Heath Spotted Orchid. Absolute classic. Big mixture of markings on there, but I've just had a look at the leaves, which are well buried down the bottom, and they're very faint spotted. It's more typical of Heath Spotted, so that's a Heath Spotted as far as I'm concerned. A very strange mix, very pleasant orchid, very bold leaves, very common spotted style leaves. Could be a hybrid. Yeah, put that in a possible hybrid camp. That one is just under 2 inches tall. Tiny little Heath Spotted Orchid, but very nicely marked. I was just thinking I haven't seen the common spotted orchid yet, which is no surprise because they'd only just be emerging. I looked at this one and thought, well, the leaves are fairly strongly marked. The flowers could easily pass. That's common spotted. And of course it could be a hybrid as well. It could be anything. 3 question marks on that one. Very bold markings. Softly spotted leaves, more indicative of a Heath Spotted. So it's either a Heath Spotted or a hybrid. I'm probably 90% Heath Spotted on that one. Beautiful markings, but not exactly typical of a Heath Spotted orchid, I would suggest. The leaves are boldly spotted. It's another of those possible +1 hybrids really. It's got some strong line markings. It's got the subtle spots of a Heath Spotted as well. And as I say, quite boldly spotted leaves, so again, possible hybrid there. More like a classic Heath Spotted orchid. A lot more subtlety than the one we just saw. Quite bold leaves on that one, and very bold flower as well. And kind to say that's a common spotted orchid, but I don't think it is. Could be a hybrid. A lot of spots on it. Could be Heath Spotted. That's another one that has 3 question marks on it. It's nice though. If I did a book on Meadows Heath Spotted Orchids, I think this one would be on the cover. Not because it's spectacular, but it's what I always see as being the typical Heath Spotted orchid that I like at this site, with the soft pink background and the nice subtle spotted markings. Just a wonderful classic Meadows Heath Spotted orchid at its peak. Well, still got a bit to go, but at its best in terms of appearance, in my opinion. I think that's probably a youthful, I don't know, I was going to say a youthful common spotted orchid. You know, the markings are right. The leaves are boldly spotted. It's not been open for too long. It could easily be a common spotted orchid, that one. That's a beauty. Quite a large one compared with those around it. Nice colouring as well. That's a lovely family grouping. Triplets. Definitely non-standard Heath Spotted markings on what is definitely a Heath Spotted. I could be a hybrid, of course. I could say that after every single plant I'm looking at, but I'd say it's a Heath Spotted orchid with yeah, non-standard Heath Spotted markings. Unusual. I'll give that one the tag of being the biggest one, biggest Heath Spotted that I've seen so far. Probably just about 6 inches tall. At last, a little bunch of what I am pretty certain are common spotted orchids, with that strongly projecting central lobe, bold markings on the leaves. Yeah, I think no doubt about that. Shouldn't say that really, should I? Common spotted orchids to me. Some wonderful markings on that, which I'm going to call a Heath Spotted Orchid stroke hybrid. Old markings on the leaves, another one to be stuffed in the drawer, marked transiens ? That is a definite possible hybrid. Lovely markings. What it is, I haven't a clue. Possibly a hybrid. Flower shape, I think that lobe is prominent, but it's still tucked in the circle made by the outer lobes on that flower. So I think it's bits of Heath spotted, bits of common spotted. The leaves are boldly marked, so we'll leave that as a possible hybrid with a big question mark. Right, that's my back done in, looking for a pure white. I can't find one. But yeah, that's it, I think. Very good again, very good. Never lets me down. They get the timing right and they're brilliant. And the timing is around about now. I think you could probably come in 4 or 5 days time at least, possibly a week, because there's still quite a few that are still emerging. I mean, the summer are in their prime, there's 1 or 2 going over. But there's enough fresh ones still coming through that haven't even started to flower yet for you to come any time up to the start of June, really. And it's a great showing. I mean, numbers is always difficult to say how many there are here. It's a pretty small area. I would say at least 300 to 400. If someone said there's 500 to 600, I wouldn't argue with them, because some of them are so small you barely see them. So there's big numbers, hundreds of them here. Always a joy to see. Cannot explain what the hell they're doing here, because you know there are no Heath spotted orchid sites anywhere near here, and as we proved earlier in the season, it isn't exactly acidic soil. It's a neutral soil. So where they've come from, how they got here, why they're here, heaven only knows. But wonderful to see them, and don't take my possible hybrids too seriously. I'm being honest, I think they could be possible hybrids. I'm positive hybrids are here. They are just so very difficult to interpret. You can only really say it's possibly a hybrid. If you say it's definitely a hybrid, I don't think you can do that. I just really, I just don't think you should do that, because unless you've got a DNA kit, there's just no criteria that categorically proves that it is a hybrid. So I think there's some here, but enjoy them. You know, don't worry about whether they are Heath, common or hybrid. Just enjoy them. Get down, do your back in. I'm old. If you're younger than me, which most of the world are, you can get down. Just be careful, because they're very small. There's quite a few that have been trampled already, so you have to tread carefully. But there are a lot here. Just come along and enjoy it. If you're into your butterflies, as I used to be many moons ago, there are quite a lot of painted ladies here. I've probably seen about 7 or 8 now, so it's obviously a painted lady season. From what I remember, they're migrants, they're not natives, and there are years when they come in big numbers. And yeah, there seems to be a lot of them around. Just about every orchid site I've been to so far has had a painted lady somewhere, but I've seen 6 or 7 today, so let's say if you're into your butterflies. You get a double whammy here if you're into orchids too. Anyway, I can't leave this place without paying a visit to the little bushy place directly in front of us, which is where the Frog Orchid, or if you want to believe there's more than one, the Frog Orchids sometimes make an appearance. And I'm on a roll, because I think the last 2 years I found a Frog Orchid here, so I'm on a hat trick, which I've never done before. If I can find, again, they are mighty tough to find. They are exactly the same colour as all of its surroundings, so we're going to give it a go. You never know. I probably get more requests each year for where are the frogs at Meadows than I do for anything else. I kind of try to give instruction, which is not easy, because as you'll see in a minute, they are not easy to find, and I will probably fail today just to prove the point. But if you're coming in the field at the top, which you will be, just follow the path down to meet this, which is a former pond area. In fact, when I came here 2 months ago, it had about a foot of water in it, so it still turns into a pond in wet weather. And the frog orchid ids, because I've been told there's more than one on some years, I use my horrible finger, it's here. It's on this sort of bank area here. So tread carefully, stay low and just look ahead of you. But that's where they are, that's where it is, that's where it should be. So we're going to have a gander and see if we can find it. Alright, this is where it is. If it's there, we'll be looking at it right now. But as you can see, everything just looks pretty much the same, and that includes the frog or frogs. Let's just keep it as frog. Somewhere in there it lurks. Well, it's not a frog, but it is a common tway blade, and I think this is about the only place you'll see a common tway blade at Meadows. It's another one for the list. Okay, who can see a frog orchid? Yeah, no? Any better? Towards the top left, there is a frog orchid. Let's see how difficult it is if I climb back to pick it out. Well, that's the frog orchid. Let's get down and have a look. There she is, or he is. The Meadows frog orchid, or one of them if there's more than one. There always used to be two. I only ever find one. Nothing much to see of them. Hard to decipher what is and what isn't a frog. But that is a frog orchid, and they are rare around here. We don't get many. Good to see. Now, if you're coming down here in the next couple of weeks, watch the picture, bottom right. There's a stick down here. Right, I'm going to leave it here. I didn't put it here, but if you follow the stick along the line about 2 foot, you'll hit the frog. Right, I'm going to leave that stick there. That's your marker. Oh, it's warming up again now. Being kept cool by the breeze though. So that's Meadows. Yeah, always a good trip. The Heath Spotted-Orchid trip. Thoroughly enjoyed that, and to find the frog as well. That's a hat trick. Never done that before. 3 seasons running I found a frog orchid, so delighted. That was the icing on the cake. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I say, you won't find Heath Spotted Orchids within probably 50 miles of Peterborough. There's a site on the other side of Leicester. That's the only one I know, really, other than a long way away. So worth coming over to see these. And the frog orchid. Look for that stick. It points at the frog. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the trip. Thank you very much indeed for keeping me company, and I hope I will see you again next Friday at 6 o'clock. Geez, getting too old for this. Too old.